This is a new client. I was hired because this owner had to move this young horse. I think he was 2 or 3, a new purchase, and she could not lead him. He's pushing into her space, and this is my very first time meeting with her. I asked if I could tape, and you see her arms underneath his neck, and this creates she's trying to keep him away, but this causes them to be more on top of you.
I'll take over in just a minute. Just lead him down again.
Choked up tight, puts pressure on the halter constantly, and he can jerk her arm out of her socket. Here she's looking down instead of where she's going, and he's just crowding her, and he's moving her feet. Since he's moving her feet, he thinks he's the boss of her. And again, she's looking down and not where she's going. I understand that because she's afraid of him, because he can rear. Right before this footage was taken, there was a lot of him rearing straight up in the air. After a few corrections, I couldn't obviously have her tape the whole thing and just meeting her. But he did a lot of rearing up, and I made him get away from me. So after probably about 10 minutes of working with him, this is what I have, just making him stay way away from me, because a horse that's so pushy like he was and crowding and dragging a person at first, I want to keep them way away from me instead of shoulder to shoulder. This keeps me in a safer position. And so now he's listening and pausing when I turn around to check him. If he doesn't stop when I check him, then I give him a correction like that. Or if he doesn't back up, I don't want the rope to hang on the ground, so I want him to keep a respectful distance. So I was handing her off my coffee. So I take him out back to work with him just because it's not as muddy, and plus I gotta show her how to go through gates, etc. And she was successful in getting him off the property. He had jumped up the stone wall to get out when other horses were being led the stone wall. You see to the left up at the top of the hill, he jumped right out of there several times and hurt himself, so that's why I was called in.
Hands, he's not going to move. It has to be hands and feet. Okay, that I want to own that spot. Here we go. Saw, drop the egg, and I got to look over the wither right here. If he doesn't yield, I'm looking over his wither, walking into his neck, and then lifting for hoe. I want more steps there, and lift for hoe. The reason I lift, if I pull, I have the horse right back on me again. When he backs up, just back up with him. Do it one more time. We'll always rub him first, so he's not over fearful of the whip. Hands up, saw, drop. See me looking right over his wither?
Yep.
Look into my turn. And also, this is not supposed to hit me. Okay, this shoulder. Which it didn't. I'm just saying, this and you do not touch.
Yep.
When he pulls his head away, you want to be able to pull his head and drive the chicken. And then back him up. Because you don't want that running over the top of you. So he takes his head and pulls it really hard to the right. So before you need it, hopefully, pull his head, drive the chicken away. So he can't see it. Pull his head, step toward the hip, nut. So he threatened to kick me there, just showing me that leg, so I bit at him. So if anybody's going to be doing anything, it'll be me. And he did it first, right? You don't kick. So if I just sting him there once or twice, release that head really quickly. And when he does, that's why I want to pump him and then point the whip at a time. Once he understands, I can just use the butt end. And if that doesn't work, then I get the stinging in. So when I have this whip, when he backs up, I'm going to back up with him. When I have this whip and not the little bat, I'm not going to hit him in the head with the whip, right? So I'll push the air and I'll pinch here. So I push the air and that never gets close to his face. Okay, I'm not going to jab him in the face, touch him at all. All I'm doing is blocking this, and then if I have to follow it up, and then I can back him up. And lift her hook. When he backs up, that's an evasion. He's got all kinds. I'll back up with him. When he turns into me, I turn him out. Lift her hook so I don't pull him. So I want to look where I'm going. Wiggle for slow. He doesn't slow down correct. Push it out my face. Walk on. Good boy. Push the air. Slow down. Look where I'm going. Good boy. And good. That was nice. Walk up. And whip. Push the air. But he turns, so my counter is this. But more important is stop. Gino, walk on, extend the whip. We don't drag him up, we extend the whip so it turns. Looking where I'm going. See, when you're leading before, when most people lead, they do this. Okay, everything went to hell. When I'm doing this because I'm nervous of them. This is teaching them tense in this, okay? So when they start leading nice, because we're looking where we're going, and then all of a sudden we start doing this, see what just happened? He goes, you don't. That's not how a leader walks. That's why we got our eyes up and look where we're going. Pacino and move. Perfect. All right, that's.
Thanks for watching.